Thank you so much for your interest in supporting the Young Center. I'm Jeff Wood, the Young Center's National Volunteer Program Coordinator, and I want to share ways that you can support unaccompanied immigrant children. We've been amazed by the outpouring of support we've received lately. If you filled out the online interest form, rest assured that we have your information and will be following up. We've had thousands of inquiries, and we normally field dozens, so we truly appreciate your patience as we follow up with all of you. If you have not completed the form, we ask that you do so by visiting the volunteer section of our website, theyoungcenter.org, or click on the link in the video description below. Our volunteers make it possible for us to serve more children than we could with our staff alone. For the past 15 years, we worked on cases of children who come here alone, children known under the law as unaccompanied children. But for the past year, we've been adding more and more cases of separated children to our caseload, children taken from their parents at the border, something that started happening a year ago, long before the administration's official change in policy just 2 months ago. We've never had so many active cases, and your interest in working with us will allow us to help even more children. Because we work directly with children in government facilities, both our staff and our volunteers undergo a rigorous screening and training process. And because we're working with children who are in crisis, especially children just taken from their parents, we have to be careful about introducing too many new people into these children's lives. So we assign just one volunteer to work with one child at a time. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to talk a little bit about our child advocate opportunity, for which we need volunteers who can commit to attending a 2-day training and volunteering on and off over the course of at least a year. I'll also go over other ways for you to get involved and support the Young Center in our work. We understand that all of you have different skills, different gifts, and different availability. What are our requirements for applying to become a child advocate? You must speak fluent Spanish, or if you live in the Chicago area, either Spanish or Hindi, Punjabi, and Bengali. Be willing to submit to an FBI criminal background check, state child abuse registry checks, and provide proof of a negative TB test. You must also live in an area where the Young Center serves unaccompanied children. Those areas are Chicago, Illinois, and the western suburbs of Illinois, the Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo areas, New York City, Westchester County and Long Island in New York, Northern Virginia and Baltimore County, the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas, including Harlingen, Brownsville, McAllen, and nearby communities, Phoenix, Arizona, and the surrounding suburbs, and the greater Los Angeles area, including Orange County and the San Gabriel Valley. Child advocates commit to working with children over a minimum of 16 months. Across our organization, work with an individual child typically lasts 3 to 6 months on average. We are looking for child advocates who can volunteer long-term and take a second or third case after their first one. Child advocates must also be 21. We get to know prospective volunteers through initial screening interview, an application and reference check, and at the required 2-day training. Our trainings are held twice a year at each of our locations, typically once in the fall and once in the spring. Once a volunteer has completed the application, screening, and training process, they are appointed to work with an individual child. Each week, our advocates will visit the child with whom they are matched for about an hour. Their responsibility is to establish rapport with the child, learn the child's story over time, and accompany the child throughout the immigration process. The volunteer advocates then work together with the Young Center supervisors to advocate for their child, with the many different government decision makers that are involved in a child's case. Volunteering as a child advocate means being a reliable, trustworthy, and professional presence for children in custody, and accordingly, we have a thorough clearance and training process for prospective child advocates. While we are utterly overwhelmed with the number of you who have come forward to be volunteers, we recognize that the time requirements to be a volunteer child advocate are substantial, and that committing to attend a 2-day training over the course of a weekend and being a child advocate for 16 months or more may not be possible for everyone at this time. If you can't become a child advocate, there are other ways for you to get involved. First, you can help by supporting our fundraising efforts. Many of you have donated to the Young Center. Thank you. Your donations really do make a difference in the lives of the children we advocate for, allowing us to increase the number of children we serve. Right now, we have a wait list of children in detention whose cases have been referred to us, and every dollar we receive allows us to take on more of those cases. We understand that not everyone is able to donate directly, but we have had people raise money through bake sales, by hosting dinner parties with friends, running 5Ks, creating Facebook campaigns, and many other creative ideas. If you're interested in supporting our work in this way, please visit the Start a Fundraising Campaign section of our website. Your generosity has already allowed us to start hiring more staff. We've hired 2 new attorneys to work specifically on cases of separated children, and we are hiring a social worker to help our team in San Antonio increase their caseload. And when it comes to child advocate volunteers, just like you've applied to be, it costs the Young Center $3,700 to bring each new volunteer on board and train them. So please keep encouraging people to support the Young Center with donations. Working together, we can continue to grow and serve more children. We also always need help advocating for policy change. Sign up using the link in the description of this video to receive our newsletter on our website, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter so we can send you legislative updates and action alerts. Your voice makes a difference. Remember, it was only overwhelming public pressure that forced the Trump administration to back down, at least temporarily, from their policy of separating children and parents. We need your help to hold the administration accountable and to encourage Congress to pass meaningful legislation to protect immigrant children and families arriving to our country. Join a march or demonstration near you. On June 30th, there will be peaceful marches against family separation and family detention across the country and in Washington, D.C. You can find a local march by visiting familiesbelong.org. We want to take a moment to insert a caveat here that you should not, demonstrate at or near a children's detention facility. The locations of these facilities are confidential for the protection of the children, many of whom arrived to the U.S. without a parent and are fleeing violence or trafficking. We vigorously discourage any impromptu protests near children's facilities and the filming or photographing of children or families in airports, on buses, or other places, as these actions have been incredibly upsetting and stressful for children. And on a positive note, as we have success helping families to reunify and to leave detention, they will be joining family members and communities across the country. They will face a host of challenges, particularly at a time when there is so much hostility towards immigrants. We encourage you to find an organization near you that serves immigrant communities by providing food banks, clothing, housing opportunities, ESL classes, and medical clinics. These organizations will be helping families to integrate into communities as their immigration cases proceed. We have received a lot of questions from people interested in fostering children. If you are interested in becoming a licensed foster parent or immigrant children, or any child in your own community, we encourage you to diligently research the agencies in your community providing these services. Our hope is that most of the separated children we work with will be reunified with their parents or placed with family members here in the United States. But there are children of all backgrounds across the country in need of foster families. At this time, we are not able to coordinate the donation of materials or letters of support to children in federal custody. Please consider reaching out to local nonprofit agencies serving immigrant communities to see if they have a need for supplies. Children transferred to long-term government custody typically have access to all necessities as well as games, arts and crafts materials, and toys. So in conclusion, if you submitted the online interest form, we do have your information. Based on the information you provided, if we think you are a good fit for the program, we will try to inform you of the next training dates in your area and next steps to apply. Our volunteer coordinators at each of our sites will be reaching out to eligible individuals with further instructions on applying to become a child advocate. Ever since these policies were announced in April, our staff attorneys and social workers have been working tirelessly alongside child advocates to reunify children with their parents, to facilitate contact and communication between separated families, and to champion the best interests, the safety and well-being of all the children in the immigration system. We know the fight for a more just and fair immigration system is far from over, and we will keep working, keep fighting until we win. Once again, thank you so much for your support. We truly could not do it without you.